Salvete discipuli, hodie spectatis lectoram sēdecimam capitis triginta sex, Jussive Noun Clauses and Phio. Hodie discemus, primum vocabula capitis triginta sex, deinde grammaticam capitis. We will learn Jussive Noun Clauses, otherwise known as indirect commands, and we will learn how to conjugate the irregular verb phio, fieri, factus sum, which means to become or to happen. Primum discemus verba vocabulorum capitis triginta sex. In hoc capita sunt tredecim verba: accedo, carpo, cogo, contemno, contundo, curro, decerno, exigo, fio, oblecto, recreo, requiro, sereno. Primum verbum: accedo, accedere, accessi, accessum. Regina matre eius mortua, Carolus ad solium regale accessit. Quid significat accedo? Proximum verbum: carpo, carpere, carpsi, carptum. Carpe diem, cecinit Horatius ille poeta Romanus. Quid significat carpo? Proximum verbum: cogo, cogere, coegi, coactum. Nulli coacti pyramidas Aegyptiorum aedificaverunt, laboratores liberi nec servi fuerunt. Quid significat cogo? Proximum verbum: contemno, contemnere, contempsi, contemptum. Omnes qui animalibus abutuntur magnopere contemno. Quid significat contemno? Proximum verbum: contundo, contundere, contudi, contussum. Coquus requirit, ut primum tria ova contundas. Quid significat contundo? Ecce tria ova, unum, duo, tria, contundas tria ova. Proximum verbum: curro, curare, curavi, curatum. Cum pavimentum humidum sit, curretis ne ambulantes labamini. Quid significat curro? Proximum verbum: decerno, decernere, decrevi, decretum. Senatus Romanus decrevit ut Cicero ex urbe in exilium proficisceretur. Quid significat decerno? Proximum verbum: exigo, exigere, exegi, exactum. Exegi monumentum aere perennius, cecinit Horatius ille poeta Romanus. Quid significat exigo? Proximum verbum: phio, fieri, factus sum. In principio Deus proclamavit ut lux fieretur, et lux facta est. Quid significat phio? Proximum verbum: oblecto, oblectare, oblectavi, oblectatum. Scitis ne magistrum vestrum peregrinatione maxime oblectari? Quid significat oblecto? Ecce magister vester in urbe Vienna, urbe capitali Austriae. Proximum verbum. Oro, orare, oravi, oratum. Cum aliquid amisisem, avi amici persuasit, ut sanctum Antonium orarem. Quid significat oro? Proximum verbum. Recreo, recreare, recreavi, recreatum. Cum terram glacialem venissem, me in lacuna caerelua recreavi. Quid significat recreo? Ecce terra glacialis, ecce lacuna caerelua. Quid significat recreo? Proximum verbum. Requiro, requirere, requisivi, requisitum. Quoquus requirit, ut primum tria ova contundas. Quid significat requiro? Proximum verbum. Sereno, serenare, serenavi, serenatum. Cantator feminae canet, ut carmine serenata eum amet. Quid significat sereno? Nunc discemus nomina vocabulorum capitis triginta sex. In hoc capite sunt tria nomina: cupido, lector, vinculum. Primum nomen: cupido, cupidinis. Cupido Deus eros a Graecis appellabatur. Quid significat cupido? Quid significat eros? Proximum nomen, or proxima nomina: lector, lectoris, et lectrix, lectricis. Hac in pictura lectrix rolumen aperit, ut librum legat. Quid significant lector et lectrix? Caveat lector. Ultimum nomen, vinculum vinculi. Rousseau, ille philosophus Helveticus, scripsit nos liberos natos ubique in vinculis esse. Quid significat vinculum? Okay, so now for the grammar. Today we are learning yet another subordinate clause that takes the subjunctive in Latin. These are called Jussive Noun Clauses, which sound kind of weird, but you got the word Jussive in it, so there's the sense of commanding. But maybe indirect command is the better way to learn these. But the book says just Jussive Noun Clause, so that's what I'll say originally. So Jussive Noun Clauses are indirect commands. They function similar to indirect questions. It's just a slightly different order of operations. So with an indirect question, you have a head verb plus an interrogative plus a subjunctive. Well, in an indirect command, instead of a head verb, you have a verb of commanding or a verb of getting somebody to do something. Okay? And then that's followed by ut or ne. Now, you might have seen ut or ne introducing result clauses or purpose clauses or negative purpose clauses. Well, they can also introduce indirect commands. So you're just going to have to use context, right? Is there a verb of getting somebody to do something before the ut or ne? And then it's followed by a subjunctive. Okay? So let's start with a direct command. Urbem expugnate. Storm the city. Okay? Caesar might say that to his troops. Storm the city. That's a direct command using the imperative mood. Expugnate, right? Well, this would be an indirect command. Caesar militibus imperavit, ut urbem expugnarent. Okay? Caesar commanded his soldiers to storm the city. Or literally, Caesar commanded his soldiers that they storm the city. Okay? So you can see a good translation in English basically sort of turns the indirect command into an infinitive. Okay? So to break things down, imperavit is a verb of commanding or a verb of getting somebody to do something, followed by ut for a positive indirect command, okay, followed by a verb in the subjunctive, okay, for the thing that's being commanded. Okay, so Caesar commanded his troops in order that they storm the city or to storm the city. Okay. Also notice we're following just like any other insubordinate clause, right? A subordinate clause that uses the subjunctive, it will follow the standard sequence of tenses. So this is perfect. We're in the historical sequence. Okay. Indirect command usually implies simultaneous action. So we're going to have the imperfect subjunctive here. Okay. Here's again those translations. Again, literally, Caesar commanded his soldiers that they storm the city. Okay, but better English, Caesar commanded his soldiers to storm the city. Okay. How about a negative indirect command? How about a negative direct command to start with? Noli hoc facere. Don't do this. Okay. Remember to make negative direct commands with the imperative, you use the imperative of nolo, hence noli, plus the infinitive. Okay, noli or nolite in the plural. Don't do this. Okay, that's a direct command. How about an indirect command? Te hortor ne hoc facias. I urge you not to do this. Okay? So hortor, again, is a verb of commanding or a verb of getting somebody to do something. So hortor, hortari, hortata sum, a decent deponent verb, which means to exhort, to urge, to recommend, to encourage. I encourage you, I urge you, okay, not to do this, or that you not do this. Okay, so verb of getting somebody to do something plus ut or ne. Here's a ne, it's negative, plus the subjunctive. Okay, we are in the primary sequence with this present tense. Simultaneous action, present subjunctive here. Okay? So yes, I urge you that you not do this. Better English, I urge you not to do this. Okay? So you can see very much they are in the similar kind of logic as indirect questions. They are phrased indirectly by way of a verb of getting somebody to do something. Okay? Introducing subordinate clause started by ut or ne. Okay? That's it. Well, that's it for that. One more thing. We have a new irregular verb for this chapter. Fio, fieri, factus sum. Okay, so this means to become, to happen, to come into being. Okay, or even to be made. And that's why the factus sum might look familiar, because doesn't that look like the perfect passive of facio facere? Okay, so factus sum means I was made or I was done. And yes, it sort of does. Yeah. It's another way of kind of construing the passive of facio, but it also functions differently a little bit. So as any verb, and especially verb, the more commonly it's used, the more irregular it becomes. And so this is a very commonly used verb, and so the most commonly used tense will look the weirdest. So let's look at the present indicative on the left here. As you're used to, the present indicative of irregular verbs tends to be the most irregular. So fio, fis, fit, fimus, fitis, fiunt. Okay, so I become, I happen, I come into being, you become, they, he, she, it becomes, etc. Okay, look at the imperfect and the future and the present subjunctive, imperfect, subjunctive, and you realize things look a lot more regular. Okay, so so there it is. You can see it sort of functions uh, as a third IO or fourth conjugation verb, even though the infinitive is fieri, which looks like a second conjugation verb or a second conjugation deponent. Like I said, it's sort of a mix of everything. This is why you're being introduced at this point. Um, the infinitive is not fite, it's fieri. I'm not sure what but that might be a misprint from this graphic. But the plural is fite, and of the imperative, and fi is the singular. The infinitive is fieri according to the principal parts there. Okay, so I should fix that graphic. My apologies. But there you go. So, and finally, just the third principal part shows you that basically just treat it like this for the perfect system, right? A perfect passive participle plus the verb to be in whatever form you need it to be. Okay, that's it. Talk to you next time. Lēctūra.